Welcome, deep diver. Okay, let's talk Chupacabra. What if I told you this legendary beast, the blood-sucking monster, maybe it was actually born in a movie theater?
Yeah, that's quite the hook.
Right. Today, we're diving deep into this, well, pretty modern myth. We're going to trace its origins, look at the eyewitness stuff, the science, the DNA, basically cut through the noise.
Get you the real story, yeah. Or at least what the evidence points to.
Exactly. We want to give you the shortcut to being really informed on this one. So let's unpack this creature. Or maybe what it isn't. So the story, it didn't just pop up in 95 out of nowhere. There was this precursor, I guess, back in 1975 in Mocha, Puerto Rico.
Ah, yeah, the Mocha vampire incidents.
That's it. Mysterious livestock deaths, these weird little circular cuts, and people claiming the animals were, like, drained of blood. Spooky stuff?
Set the stage, definitely, but nothing like what happened 20 years later.
No kidding. 1995, that's when it really exploded. A much bigger wave of attacks. Orocovis, Canovanus, real alarm spreading across the island.
And what's fascinating here is how fast that local scare went global. And it kind of hinges on the name, doesn't it?
Totally. The name is key.
Yeah, this Puerto Rican comedian, Silverio Perez, he jokingly calls it Chupacabras, goat sucker.
Perfect name.
Right. So catchy, easy to translate. It just gave the whole mystery this perfect handle for the media to grab onto. And it spread like wildfire.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting. That original description from Puerto Rico back then, it was wild.
Oh, yeah, nothing like the later versions.
Witnesses were talking about a creature maybe 3 to 5 feet tall, bipedal, walking on 2 legs, kind of hopping like a kangaroo.
With leathery or scaly skin, greenish gray.
And those eyes, big alien-looking eyes, sometimes red or black, and the spines down the back.
Very distinctive.
Very distinctive, and perhaps suspiciously familiar if you look closely.
Go on.
Well, the investigative author Benjamin Radford, he did some amazing digging. He traced that specific description back, largely, to one key eyewitness, Madeline Tolentino.
And here's the kicker. The sci-fi horror movie Species. It came out in Puerto Rico in July 95, weeks before Tolentino's sighting became famous.
Wait, Species with the alien Syl.
That's the one. And Syl, the alien hybrid in the movie, looks remarkably like that early Chupacabra description. Bipedal, the spines down the back.
Yeah.
It's striking.
Wow.
And Tolentino herself actually confirmed she'd seen the movie before her sighting. It looks like a classic case of confabulation.
Confabulation, like your brain mixing up memory and imagination.
Exactly. You see something striking in a film, then later you see something maybe unclear or frightening in real life, and your brain kind of fills in the blanks with that vivid image you already have.
So the original Chupacabra was basically inspired by a movie monster.
It really seems that way. Radford calls it the first postmodern cryptid because it seems literally born from mass media, from pop culture, not ancient folklore.
That's actually mind-blowing. Okay, so we have this reptilian movie-inspired creature in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
But then things change, right, as it spreads.
Yeah. Drastically. As reports move to the mainland U.S., especially Texas, the description shifts completely. Suddenly, it's quadrupedal.
On all fours, like a dog or coyote.
Exactly. Hairless, weird-looking skin. And this is crucial. This Texan canid version, that's the only one where we actually have physical evidence. Carcasses.
Right. The photos you see online are always that hairless dog thing, never the spiny reptile.
Never. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, science has a really solid explanation for these Texan chupacabras. It's called the mangy canid hypothesis.
Mangy canid, so sick dogs or coyotes.
Overwhelmingly coyotes, yeah. Suffering from severe sarcoptic mange. It's caused by these microscopic mites, Sarcoptes scabiei.
And mange makes them look monstrous.
It really does. Intense itching, massive hair loss. Their skin gets thick, scabby, crusty. They look emaciated, grotesque. Not like a healthy coyote at all.
And that would explain attacking livestock. Easier targets.
Precisely. A sick, weak animal can't hunt normally. It goes for easy prey, like chickens or goats penned up. So, yeah, not a monster, just a very sick coyote having a really, really bad time.
Okay, that makes sense for how they look and act.
Yeah.
But what about the blood? That's the core of the legend, the bloodless carcass detail. How does science explain that?
Yeah, that's a big one, and it raises an important question about observation versus interpretation. First off, the puncture wounds reported, totally consistent with canine teeth. Dog bites, coyote bites.
Okay, so nothing weird there.
Nope. And the bloodless look, it's almost always a misinterpretation of what happens after death. Blood coagulates, right? It stops flowing freely.
Oh.
and gravity pulls the remaining blood down into the lowest parts of the body. That's livor mortis. So there's not much external bleeding from small wounds after death. Plus, insects, birds, they clean up any exposed blood very quickly.
So it just looks drained.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But every single time a supposed Chupacabra victim has had a proper necropsy, a veterinary examination, they find normal levels of blood inside the carcass, always.
Always. And the DNA evidence, that clinches it, doesn't it?
It absolutely seals the deal. Every alleged Chupacabra carcass that's been tested, you might remember Phyllis Canyon's find in Texas back in 2007. That got huge press.
I do, yeah. The blue dog thing.
That one. Every single sample from that case and others, when subjected to DNA analysis, it comes back identified as a known local animal. Coyote, domestic dog, sometimes even a raccoon.
Wow, raccoon.
Yep. And invariably, they show signs of severe mange or other disease. There has never been any unknown DNA, no novel species found, zero ambiguity there.
So the science is crystal clear on the physical evidence. It's mangy canids. But the idea, the legend of the Chupacabra, it just took off like crazy in the mid-90s.
Unprecedented speed, really. You have to remember, this was the dawn of the popular internet. Information and misinformation could suddenly spread globally almost instantly.
And TV jumped on it too, right? Sensationalist shows.
Oh, absolutely. Shows like El Show de Cristina beamed it into millions of homes. It was a perfect storm for social contagion.
And it's fascinating how it then became, well, different things to different people.
Yeah, it's incredibly flexible culturally. It works as a straightforward modern boogeyman, something to scare kids.
Right.
But it's also a pop culture icon. You see it in cheesy horror movies like Chupacabra Terror, but also like family films now, like Chupa.
Huh. And conspiracy theories too.
Always. Government experiments, escaped aliens. It becomes this sort of blank screen where people project their anxieties about authority, science, the unknown.
Which leads us to what some researchers call the Chupacabra effect. Can you explain that?
Sure. It's basically this cognitive error, like a mental shortcut. The name Chupacabra is so famous and evocative.
Yeah, people just slap it onto anything weird they see.
Exactly. Especially if it's a strange-looking animal, like a hairless coyote or dog. They see something unusual, they don't know what it is, and boom, it must be a Chupacabra. The label gets misapplied constantly.
So the legend kind of feeds itself by finding these imposters.
That's a good way to put it. It thrives by constantly finding new, unrelated cases of sick animals to point to.
Okay, so wrapping this up, where does that leave us?
Well, to summarize, the Chupacabra isn't some undiscovered biological mystery waiting in the shadows. It's really a fascinating, complex mix of things.
A cultural and psychological thing.
Precisely. You've got a definitive origin linked to, believe it or not, cinematic influence and maybe some initial social panic. Then layered on top is clear zoological misidentification, seeing sick animals and calling them monsters. And it's all amplified by media and these powerful social dynamics.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now? I think this deep dive really shows us something about ourselves, doesn't it?
It really does. Our collective fear of the unknown, for one.
And how our brains can sometimes, well, want to see monsters, even in the mundane, like a sick coyote. That cognitive tendency.
And our relationship with media, both science communication and, the sensational stuff, how stories spread and change.
So maybe the Chupacabra is such a powerful modern myth, precisely because it isn't real. Its story isn't about biology. It's a weird, fascinating reflection of us. Something to think about.